I'm not going to keep people waiting any longer. Thank you all for coming. I'm sure there will be more people joining us as we go along. We are here to talk about CELTA, to talk about the different modes in which the CELTA is offered. And it's a very special evening because this is not just an English for Africa webinar. It's an English for Africa with our DARE alumni webinar. So you're going to hear from people who took the course with us in the 3 modes that we offer it in. The program for the evening is I will give a brief presentation of the course itself, not very long. I expect most of you are familiar with the CELTA course to a certain extent, especially the people who took it, of course. And then I'm going to ask the alumni to talk a little bit about their experience on the course, possibly how it has altered their professional careers as teachers of English as a foreign language, what they did, what they're doing now. We'll try to keep all of this brief because the focus is going to be on you, the participants, asking our alumni, and if necessary, myself, questions. So we want this to be as interactive as possible. And with no further ado, the CELTA course is a Cambridge certificate at level 5 on the off-qual. It's recognized worldwide. So you can take a look at some of the statistics here, which were provided by Cambridge University assessment. So in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, 71% of English language teaching jobs asked specifically for a CELTA qualification. And in the UK, 65 out of 74. That does, I mean, it's straight, for me, the UK is part of Europe, but anyway, I think UK does not consider itself to be part of Europe. All this to say that the CELTA certificate, and therefore the CELTA course, they're in high demand. And if you want to teach English as a foreign language, it's a good idea to get this certificate, insofar as it really improves your chances on the job market internationally. And why do employers choose CELTA qualified teachers? I've been training teachers for a very long time, and frankly, the CELTA is my preferred course. It's an excellent course because it's very comprehensive, because it's very intense, and I'm not the one who has to take it. It's you guys who have to take it. It's really hard. It's hands-on. We teach you, you learn everything you need to know about being an English teacher, from planning lessons to how to continue to develop yourself as a teacher, how to manage a classroom. And it helps you to teach in a variety of different contexts, different places. Finally, and I think really the most important part of the CELTA course is that you're teaching real students and you're getting feedback right away on your performance with concrete suggestions about how to improve in your next teaching practice, and therefore how to improve as a teacher overall. The CELTA course now, as of 2021, so for the past couple of years, has been offered in 3 modes. By the way, English for Africa was the first center in the MENA region to offer it as a mixed mode course. And so it is offered face-to-face, so entirely face-to-face. Mixed mode, which is where you do part of your teaching practice online and part of your teaching practice in a classroom, in a brick and mortar classroom. And then there's the fully online course as well, where all of the teaching practice, all of the teaching, all of the interaction is online. The way we offer the course, the fully online version is between 10 and 11 weeks long. We tend to meet on Saturdays. It's possible for us to be flexible depending on requirements or demands from the course participants. So we can shift it to a Sunday if necessary. It's extensive. We don't do intensive courses that are fully online. I personally don't see the point, but I'm sure there's a market out there for that as well. The mixed mode course, so it's half online, half face-to-face. We run it in 8 weeks, or at least we're going to run it in 8 weeks in 2023. We'll meet online for 6 of those weeks, and 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, we'll meet face-to-face every single day in McNass, and that too is an extensive course. And finally, there is the classic, the one and the only 4-week intensive CELTA course, which meets from Monday to Friday. We run it in McNass, Rabat, and Casablanca this year. And in future years, if you are in Morocco and you want us to run it in your city, just let us know. And if there is demand, we will sort things out for you. And that's it for me, unless if you have questions for me. We're now going to pass the floor to our alumni. Esma, we'll start with you, if that's okay. If you could tell us a little bit about your experience on the course, what you did before, what you've done since then, and just a couple of words about it being a mixed mode course, right? So you took in Casablanca mixed mode. What was that like?
All right. I'm gonna be like very brief. I would like to start with that I have passed the CELTA course last year. I started in December and we finished early March, and it was a mixed mode course. We had course like I remember it was an online, we had it with Mrs. Fegan on Saturday, and Sunday the whole day we used to go to Casablanca, which was really exciting at the beginning, and then it was tiring, and it was exciting at the end. Because when you think about CELTA at first, well, you all the time you hear that it's a very hard course to take, and it was actually hard, but right after you get your certificate, you forget about all the hard things you have passed through the course. If I were to talk about myself before passing the course and right after passing it, I would say I became a very different teacher, because I mean, even if you tell yourself that you've got experience, but you get to be observed by experienced teacher in the field, so that you know whether you are doing is right or not. And I realized that I was doing like so many things that were not right, and I'm very glad I've been corrected by teachers, by tutors, and also by my colleagues throughout the course. And I don't know, I had a lot of things to say, and just
That is
yeah.
wonderful, Esma. Thank you very much for taking the time to share your
Yeah,
experience.
I just want to share this beautiful lady with the ones that are going to come for CELTA. Just the day you will learn keys to worry about every things you learn. I'm talking about forgetting about the pressure of everything you've been passing through throughout the course. So here is it. You get it too.
Thanks, Esma. If you have time to stick around for questions, that's great. If you can't, it's
By
fine.
the way, I've canceled things, so I'm free the whole session.
Cheers. Okay. I think that we might as well hear from our other mixed mode alumni. Ilyas, are you there?
Yes. Hi.
Hey. So Esma took the course in Casablanca. Ilyas, you took the course with us at our center in McNass. Please.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that. The CELTA, well, I'd like to talk first of all about the CELTA in general. So before CELTA, I had some experience teaching English. As Asma said, we thought we had experience. So while doing CELTA, I realized that the traditional way, the way we learned English by doing grammar tasks, memorizing words, and so on and so forth, it doesn't really help as much. So during our CELTA course, we came across different techniques and principles that show how the old mode of instruction, for example, doesn't work. And while doing CELTA with English for Africa, I came across techniques that help the teachers, both the teachers and the students, to enjoy the learning process, not only learn language, but enjoy learning language. Now, this is about CELTA in general. As for the mixed mode, before taking CELTA, I had never taught online, so I had no idea how to do it. And with CELTA, and thanks to the mixed mode, I learned to teach online, and I have done it after that, and it worked pretty well. Of course, in the mixed mode, I think, is the best for CELTA because of both. You teach online, you learn techniques how to teach online, and also in the on-site, in the real classroom, and how you deal with students, and so on and so forth. Now, I had experience through CELTA, which is almost fully practical. Almost everything you do in CELTA is practical. I think CELTA is distinguished by that. I also work for English for Africa, where I'm actually still learning lots of things on a daily basis. Simply, I would recommend CELTA, especially the mixed mode, for everyone who is interested in teaching English and interested in helping others learn this language, and also, if they are interested in teaching English online.
Sure. Thank you very much, Ilyas. It's really nice to hear you say those words. Just for the record, I'm also a fan of the mixed mode course personally.
Yeah.
I also think it's a really good course. It's got both the online and the face-to-face components, and it's not as intensive as the intensive course. You know, we take it, the online part of the course usually is extensive, and then we meet face-to-face for an intensive part of the course. Thank you, Ilyas. Thank you very much. If you could stick around for questions, that's great. If you're not, that's fine, but thank you very much. Tissam, you are our lone intensive course participant. Would you like to say a few words about your experience, please?
Of course.
And you don't have to talk about, if you want to, you can talk about the crazy things that happened.
Oh my God, I'd love to. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Tissam. I'm 24 years old. I took my CELTA, I think it was summer 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, because it's been long for me. It's been a long time. The course was crazy, like crazy, intensive course. We spent 4 weeks together, and I think we had to extend it a couple more days, right, after the 4 weeks for emergency stuff. Let's talk about the course itself. It was hard. It was really hard. Assignments, deadlines, teaching practices, feedback, working on your feet. Like, we ate CELTA, we drank CELTA, the only thing we spoke about was CELTA. My CELTA was in Rabat. It was for a full month, as I mentioned. The things that I can see in myself that I can see nowadays in myself that are because of CELTA was that the fact that it shaped me. It shaped me so well, the intensive course, that, as I mentioned, like, it makes you think up your feet. And so now if I'm teaching and if I have something and I have a deadline and I need to think fast, I always go back to those days, that pressure. And so I think we became veterans. And so it's like, just work, just do it. You're going to do it. Also, like, student-centeredness, as Ilyas mentioned, and Esma, I think, that CELTA taught us that you're not the most important person inside the class. Yes, you're the leader of your class, you're the queen of your class. However, your students are the most important thing about your class. Making them happy, making them enjoy the class, giving them a voice and a choice in the way that they receive their education. I think it's just a very totally different experience. As Moroccans, I think we follow a very lecture-based mode when it comes to teaching. However, CELTA trained us to be different, trained us to listen to our students, trained us to enjoy teaching in general. And so it was totally worth it. And thank you, Mohammed. I said it before, I don't think we gave you the right, we didn't show you the right appreciation, so forgive us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kisam. It's very nice to hear you say that. Even though I don't really need a certificate, just flowers every other weekend would be very nice, actually. Flowers, anyone? Flowers?
Next weekend, inshallah, that's it.
All right, that sounds good. Let's see. So we have two other alumni with us, and they took the fully online course. Marcel, you're in Rabat. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, so I did the fully online course, and I'm actually here in Casablanca. I'm not in
Oh,
Rabat.
sorry.
Like the others have said, it's intense because you're basically learning to do new things, and you have to figure out how to do them in a very short time. I mean, and if you're doing the part-time one, it's more likely that you're working. So your work is what's really going to take away your time and make it feel intense. You know, if you're not working, you go, well, you have all day, so you can, I would say you could probably relax and stuff over it. Yeah, so I finished the program, and it was, I think, like 2 years ago. Since then, I've been a fully online teacher. And I can tell you that when you switch to fully online, you will get you will need to be very comfortable with ambiguity and surprise, because you will be, if you're willing to say yes, you will be swimming in the deep end of things that I would probably say like a lot of teachers don't really get to experience doing. I am not, and I have not been just an English teacher. I have, and I still am, been teaching Spanish. I have a French student. I am preparing, I'm helping lawyers learn about data protection and data security law across continents. You know, I'm helping people write diplomatic communications, visa applications, you name it. Like if you go online, you will be doing a lot of varied things. If you're willing to say yes to them, you'll learn a lot. So yeah.
Thank you, Marcel. That's great. And we had Isam as well, but I think he is not with us anymore. Isam, are you there? I guess he's not. Maybe he'll join us later. Tisam, Esma, Ilyas, Marcel, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to prospective CELTA candidates. The thing is that I can talk about CELTA all day. It doesn't have the same weight as when it comes from people who've gone through the experience from the barrel end of things, if you see what I mean. And that's what you guys did, and I really appreciate you sharing with everybody here. The time has come now to open the floor to others. Oh, Ilyas, I didn't thank you also. Thank you, because I didn't see your face. You had your camera off. Very visual person I am. So I'll open the floor to those who would like to ask questions about the different modes or about the CELTA in general.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions. I'm sorry I've jumped in first. Well, my name is Farouk. I'm from Casablanca. And I'm willing actually to take the course. I'm very motivated about it. I just have some ambiguity, and that's it. Honestly, I just have some questions, and I now would appreciate if you can clarify some of them. Well, my first question here is, which course would you recommend to us, Mr. Muhammad, or even the alumni representatives? Like a question in general, like which course would you like to recommend the most? Because I'm still honestly in vague here.
Go ahead, Asma.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend mixed mode because especially for the ones who don't have much experience in online, so you get experience teaching in front of teachers, and then you get feedback from them, and then also you get feedback from while you're teaching online. It's like very another experience, and you get to learn two things at the same time.
I'd like to back Asma too, because as Mohammed might have mentioned, my course was really crazy. I was supposed to take a very intensive face-to-face course. However, our assessor had a stroke. Thank God he's fine now. However, he had a stroke, so we
your
had
trainer, the other trainer, not the
yeah,
Sorry.
not you, not you, alhamdulillah. So we had to switch to online mode. First, I was really terrified because I didn't sign up for that. And so we had a chat with Muhammad on and on during the weekend. So what are we supposed to do? And he was really optimistic about taking it online, the other part online. At first, I wasn't happy with it, but then when I started taking it to be trained, I mean, to teach online, it was a totally, again, different experience. So yeah, I'd say Asma is right. Take the mixed mode because you get a taste of both things.
Thank you, Tisam. It is daunting to teach online for the first time. We try to provide as much support as we can because we're aware of the fact that it's not that it's more difficult, it's that we haven't been online students. We have experience as students in physical classrooms, so we can, even if we never taught in the classroom before, we know, generally speaking, what goes on there. It's not the same when you're teaching online. And so our course pays specific attention to helping people feel comfortable teaching online. We give you the opportunity to do an unassessed lesson at the beginning of the course. We train you on Zoom, etc. So we have a question from Hamza Harisi. I'll read it to you. I can't use the microphone, but I'd like to ask you a question. How hard do you think a self-certificate would be after getting a TEFL certificate, TEFL master's degree? That's a great question.
Hard, very hard.
Yeah.
As hard as you can imagine, but it's worth it.
I don't think that for me the hardship about CELTA was the deadlines, because we only had like 4 weeks. It's hard even for the people who didn't take an intensive course. I understand, because you have a lot of things to do, and as Marcel might have mentioned, he said that if you're taking not intensive course, you're probably working, so you have that with your life, and so it's still hard. However, like the assignments and things like this, they're hard in itself, because they're training you to be a good teacher, so they have to challenge you, of course. And so not a master's degree, not a TEFL certificate, it's a totally different thing.
Thank you, Chisam. Anyone else want to answer that question in particular?
Yes, please. I'd like to carry on with my list of questions.
Farouk,
Sorry.
yes. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt you. I was going to get
No,
back.
it's fine. It's fine. As I've heard a lot of crazy stories about the intensive course, now I'm getting a little bit of clarifications over here. So I think like the mixed mode is better for me too, I think. So my next question is, the CELTA course, is it going to provide us with techniques on how to teach online? Because I have never taught online before.
Yeah, so Marcel, Ilias, would you like to answer that question in particular?
So in my CELTA experience, when I were doing the TPs and stuff, you're gonna make some big mistakes because you're gonna make assumptions based on your experience of being in a physical classroom. And so the biggest thing you have to do is, whenever you plan your lesson, you kind of like, there's a lot of things you have to think about. And you just basically have to recall, like, everything's virtual. And just because everyone is in the same space doesn't mean that they are, how to put it, like, they're not using the same tools. You're not in the same classroom, literally. You're in your home. they're in the home, they're in the street, you're on your computer, they're on, like, I don't know, you're on your PC, they're on a Mac, or maybe they're on their cell phone, or they're on something else. Yeah. And so you have to think about all of these different operating systems, geographic location. My students in China, for example, they can't use Google, they can't use internet, I can't send them URLs, I can't send them links to anything, right? So if I'm with them, either I have to stream it from my computer, or like nothing can be shared, basically, unless it's PowerPoint. Yeah. So
Thanks, Marcel. Go ahead, Elias.
I'd like to take on that as well and try to answer Farouk's question. It was about techniques, about teaching online. Yes, CELTA does. If you study CELTA online, take it online or mixed mode, they do provide you with techniques to deal with disruptions, for example, to deal with, well, sometimes you are during the lesson and all of a sudden someone has some noise, background noise, and they teach you how to deal with that, how to take care of the noise, how to put people in different breakout rooms, and how to manage students during the lesson online. So yes, there are lots of techniques that you learn in the online CELTA.
And there's also a demonstration lesson before you start the course. So you'll learn plenty of, like for 3 hours demonstration lesson it was. So I guess it's a good amount of time so that you learn from the tutor plenty of things before you go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'd like to stress regarding this question the importance of feedback. As Marcel said, you're going to make mistakes, and the CELTA is all about making mistakes, and your trainers helping you to learn from those mistakes. And I'd also like to go back to your first question, Farouk, which was about which course to take. One thing that I think everybody should be aware of: when you take a CELTA course, there will be sacrifice involved. You cannot take a course like this without giving something up in your regular day-to-day life. And you have to be aware of that. There's no perfect time to take it. The course, the format that is appropriate to you will depend on your circumstances, will depend on logistics, where you live, what your other responsibilities are. So it's a very individual choice, Farouk.
Yeah. I would like to add one thing, Farouk, because since your question is about like which modality to take. Like the other teachers here are saying like, oh, do like the dual modality so you get a little bit of experience of both or whatever. I'm going to tell you, like, what I would say is you need to think about what market you're going to want to operate in. Okay. If you want to be an online teacher, really your market isn't Africa, because online learning isn't really a big thing here, as Mohammed said earlier, right? Most of us haven't had experience learning online, right? And so we don't have a student referent experience of like, what's this like, right? The markets for online learning are outside Africa. They're in Europe, China, the United States, like North America, let's say. You can't even count South America. So those are the two big markets. And if that's where you want to be teaching, then the dual modality would be a good choice, or even just like the online, right? It's just, you have to really think about like, in what way are you going to be functioning in these markets? Are you planning on leaving the country and staying there? Then do it in person. If you plan on trying to build up some kind of like online reputation and a following and teach online, then do the strictly online. If you're maybe kind of at odds about it, you can do the dual modality. The only disadvantage I can see with the dual modality is that because you're doing both, you're getting exposure to both, but that's also limiting the how do I put it, the opportunity that you can, like the amount of improvement you can make in any one of those two, right? If you're just strictly in person, yeah, you're gonna have an opportunity to make you're gonna make gains that are gonna go much further than if you were in both. And it's the same for online.
Thanks, Marcel. I really appreciate your point about what you intend to do with the CELTA. And this is a very important question we ask people at interview. It's a it's a big investment in time, energy, and money. And so you need to know what you're going to do with it afterwards. And having a plan is really important. The point about the mixed mode dividing your exposure between those two, online and face-to-face teaching, those two ways of approaching teaching and learning, it's a relevant one indeed. Just to remember that a lot of what we do as teachers is plan. And a lot of the lesson planning that we do for online and face-to-face, a lot of the techniques and the methods that we use, the frameworks that we use, overlap quite a bit. But it is a good point, Marcel, and thank you for making it. We have a couple of more questions that I think they're specifically directed to me. Let me see, I'm looking for the chat box. So the first one is, will the CELTA course be available in Morocco in the near future? And this is a question from a man named Admin, which is a very interesting name. No, I know your name is not Admin. The answer is, I don't know. I will take the CELTA course anywhere in Morocco if we have enough candidates there, right? We can do, ideally, it would be a mixed mode course because that would mean less time spent away from home for me and for any other trainer that works on the course with you. If you would like us to bring the course to your city, including Marrakesh, let me know. Let me know if you know other people who are interested. If you have 3 other people, so a total of 4 minimum, we will come and do a mixed mode course in your city. For sure, just get in touch with us. The other question is, when will the next mixed mode course begin? In 1 month. 7th of May is the next course. The online part starts 7th of May. We are running it in Meknes, the face-to-face part. The last 2 weeks of June, we will be here in Meknes for the face-to-face part of the course. We are running face-to-face courses in Casablanca this summer in July. If we have people requesting that the course be made mixed mode, we can adjust. We're very flexible. That's just because I'm a flexible person. It's like, a company is about the guys in the company. I'm a flexible guy. Growing up, I was not very strong, couldn't lift weights, but I was really flexible. I could touch my toes really well. Flexible.
Is the mixed mode fully booked or not?
It is not. We have actually at least 2 other slots available for the mixed mode course currently.
For Casablanca or for Meknes?
Meknes. Casablanca
Yes.
will become mixed mode if we have enough people who request it. I'm not anticipating it, but I'm not ruling it out either.
I would like to thank everybody for answering my questions. Sorry for jumping on the microphone again. I just have other questions to share with you, if you don't mind, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have a question that I think it's very, very essential for me about taking the course, and it's maybe directly for you, Mohammed. I am planning to move abroad in the upcoming next years, and I would like to know if the CELTA is going to help me in getting jobs in a native English-speaking country.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, which country is it?
Canada.
The CELTA is very widely accepted in Canada, so the answer is a resounding yes. I had an interesting conversation a couple of years ago with someone who lived in North America who was telling me, because when I left the United States a number of years ago, and back then the CELTA wasn't well known at all, it's picking up steam all across the continent. And we have alumni from North America who have found the CELTA very useful, helping them to take the, on the job market. Farouk, if you don't mind, we have questions on the chat as well. What are the advantages of obtaining a CELTA certification in addition to a TESOL certification? Can any of the alumni answer that, or would you like me to take this one?
All right, what's the question?
The question in the chat box is, what are the advantages of obtaining a CELTA certification in addition to a TESOL certification?
I would like to talk about my latest experience that after getting the CELTA, you get plenty of job offers that you would not get before. That it's very difficult now to choose between which one you would like just because you have a CELTA in your CV, just to be honest.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really cool. I should
Yeah.
get a CELTA.
Why you don't? You
You
don't
should.
have one?
No,
I
he
don't
doesn't
one.
have a
No, I don't
CELTA.
have a CELTA.
You only
Yeah,
have a Delta, I think, right?
Yes, I went straight for
Yeah.
it. So,
Oh, so you're serious? I thought you
Yeah, he
did.
doesn't have a
yeah, I
CELTA.
don't have one. No.
Yeah, I've got CELTA, but Mr. Muhammad hasn't got one.
Yeah, yes, that's right. I'd like to add something to that question, to that answer rather. The CELTA is a TESOL qualification. It is. It's one of many. What sets the CELTA apart is that it's better than the other ones. And I gotta tell you, I run a language center now too in McNass. And I've interviewed so many teachers with non-CELTA qualifications. I haven't hired any. No, that's not true. I hired one recently, really nice guy, but he wants to continue his training. You know, he is aware of the fact that the training that he got on his TESOL qualification, it was not enough. And I'm continuing to train him on the job, because if I don't, his lesson plans are not going to be at the level that I expect. So that is the difference. You don't get the same kind of training. And Hamza is asking, is Canada an option for non-natives? For me, a native is a person who, okay, I'm sorry. I get very sensitive when I hear the term native, non-native. I know what you mean. There is discrimination against people who don't have the right skin color or background or history or accent. Canada is not a place where that holds, nor is the United States. There are people who were born in other countries who teach English as a foreign language all across North America. Imad, you raised your hand. It's nice to have you with us, Imad. It's been a long time.
Nice. Yes, it has been a long time. Okay,
Yeah.
Mohammed. Yes, just I wanted to add something about to share my experience after taking the CELTA. I'm working in Saudi Arabia, and I have been working there for a long time. And in my institution, the first thing they look at is like I will not use the term non-native English teachers. I will say bilingual instructors. They look for the IELTS test results so if you got like 7 as an overall band score for and the CELTA, you will be prioritized to be hired rather than having just the TEFL or the TESOL certificate. And the difference is that they prefer the CELTA because any teacher who took the CELTA has gone through an experience of high quality lesson planning, post-lesson reflection. It has a high awareness about communicative language teaching, and this is actually needed in some institution like the British Council and like the organization I work for in Saudi Arabia. If they need more than if they have a high demand of teachers, they might have a look at those who hold TEFL or TESOL, but they are not sure about the quality of the courses offered by other organizations other than Cambridge.
Thanks, Imad. Thank you very much for that. It's like I said, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
We have another question that I actually didn't answer from Yusuf. Casablanca only has a face-to-face option right now. Yes, right now, Casablanca, we're going to be training there in July, face-to-face option. If you're interested in the mixed mode and you live in Casablanca, get in touch with me. Like I said, if we have enough candidates interested in the mixed mode, we can transform a part of the Casablanca course into a mixed mode course. Like I said, we're flexible in that way. And Ben says, thank you. You're welcome. Farouk, back to you.
Hi. Thank you a lot for the explanation. I actually have learned a lot from only this webinar. It's a great one, I would say. So my last but not least question. I mean, this is I don't know. It can be a bit weird question, but if you don't mind answering it, what's the success rate in your center for the CELTA course?
Hmm?
What is the success rate? Yeah, it's a sensitive question, Farouk, because well, I mean, do you mean how many people have failed the course with us?
Well, maybe yes, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knock on wood. You know,
Um, do you
nobody.
remember? Do you
Sorry,
remember,
go ahead.
Muhammad? I had the same question before.
Yeah.
I had the same question before because I need to know if someone has failed it before, just in case I make sure if I will fail it as well.
Yeah.
We
So
always have this doubt before passing it. I understand.
the reason it's a sensitive, thank you, Asma. The reason it's a sensitive question is because just because nobody's failed so far, it doesn't mean that it's not possible for people to fail. Failing or passing, getting a grade or not, it depends on your performance, your commitment. It doesn't depend so much on the center. It really doesn't. And the reason why is because centers get assessed by Cambridge assessors, and they are there to make sure that we're doing our job correctly, us just as other CELTA centers across the world. Some centers are better than others, that's a fact. But the pass rate across countries is generally consistent, you know? So in Morocco, the pass rate is going to be basically the same across Morocco. So again, to answer your question, nobody has failed on our English for Africa. I haven't failed anyone since I started English for Africa, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible for it to happen. We are an equal opportunity failure. No, that's a joke. We're not a failure at
I'd
all.
like to add something there because I remember from my course, some of my colleagues were about to fail, and this is for Farouk. Your assessors are going to sit down with you and tell you what
Trainers,
you
not
need to do.
assessors, trainers.
Trainers, I'm sorry. Your trainers are going to sit down with you and tell you the things that you need to do, the things that you need to improve. They will guide you so that you have your chance of succeeding. So yes, chances are if you're not committed enough, if you don't do the right job, chances are you're going to fail. However, you got a bunch of people who are helping you. So
Yeah,
very
that's
nice.
right. And just one last word that I'll say, and then if anyone else wants to say anything, my byline, my motto is transparency on a CELTA course. There are no surprises. If there's ever any risk of someone not succeeding on the course, they'll know it well in advance, and we'll provide you with an action plan, a written action plan, with the criteria that you must meet in order to pass the course. Anyone else want to address that question?
I'll add something. Pair up with someone that's already taken CELTA. Like, get a personal coach. I did this for my friend. He was in not with Mr. Umi's CELTA program, but he was in a different one. And same as me, part-time, online, sleepless nights, crazy deadlines, no time to do it because we both were teaching and stuff like that. And I just paired up with him and met up with him once or twice a week, helped him with his reviewed his assignments and stuff like that. And just said, oh, maybe you should change that. Maybe, do you think about this, etc. And, he passed. So, find someone that took CELTA, pair up with them, and just have them take a third look at things that you do before you submit them, and you should be fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Marcel. And just so long, if you do that, guys, just make sure to cite the person who's helping you in your bibliography, so it's not plagiarism. No, I'm joking. That's not something you have to do.
Thought you were real for a second.
Okay, just a couple of more questions. Yes, we have 2 questions about cost. Oh, what is the name of your center in McNass? English for Africa. It's the same. Yeah. Shema, do you want to come work with us? Do you have a CELTA? Can you teach? We're looking for teachers, by the way. If you're good, apply. The horror story is that I've trained some excellent teachers in Morocco, and so few of them live in McNass. When will the fully online course start? The next fully online course starts at the end of Ramadan, so that's in a little bit under 2 weeks. We've still got room on that course as well if you want to apply. And the cost of the course depends on the format, the mode that you're taking. 13,000 Moroccan dirhams for the fully online, 17,000 for mixed mode, and 19,000 in Casablanca. Just because Casablanca is an expensive city and we have to rent space there in order to run the course there. Okay, any other questions? First year MA student, I consider to take mixed mode course. Yeah, so like I said, there's still room on that course if you want to apply, and it starts the 7th of May. Yes, Fo, go ahead.
All right, I have no more questions. I would like just to thank you all for listening to my weird questions. Sorry, guys. They're a bit weird or not, I don't know. But yes, thank you a lot. And I'm looking forward to apply in the next few weeks. I'm going to send my application. I would love to sign for the mixed mode course, if it's possible. If it's not, then I'll take the face-to-face one. I would really love the mixed mode, especially if it's in Casablanca. So if there are enough candidates, please let me know if that's
No,
possible.
actually, Fo, we should apply, and then once we have enough applications for mixed mode in Casablanca, we'll take it into consideration. Like I said, it's not likely. If you can come to McNass for 2 weeks in June, I think that's your best option.
I think yes, I can do this. I can do this.
Then
So I think I'll apply for the
go
one in
ahead.
May. So you said there are two available slots, right?
Right now, we have at least 2 available slots. Yes.
All right, I will apply within the next few days or weeks.
Excellent.
Depends.
Looking
All right,
forward to it.
thank you so much for the
Before we
valuable
go,
information.
before we go, I'm going to share the screen again because I want to just see. I want to let the alumni know, but also everybody else know that we don't do only CELTA. I'd like, and this is like a major announcement. So we are going to be launching an annual subscription formula for teacher training. There will be a series of online workshops and short courses, ELT webinars taught by highly qualified speakers, and other CELTA trainers. So what's special about English for Africa, at least with regards to Morocco, is that our trainers are all CELTA trainers. They train you on other courses, but they're qualified CELTA trainers as well. And the subscription service that we're going to launch is going to be, so it's on a yearly basis. You pay a fee every month, and you attend the webinars, the courses, and the workshops that you're interested in. It's all going to be online. These workshops and courses will range from how to teach English to for exam classes, how to teach English in the business English context, English for specific purposes, but also more hardcore pedagogical things like what is task-based learning and can we actually do it for real, either online or face-to-face? How do we integrate online tools into the classroom, in a physical classroom, to make it seamless and not seem like we're just sprinkling onto, looking for a metaphor. Anyway, so it seems natural. So I'm really, pleased that this is coming together. We've had a hard time finding a formula for non-CELTA teacher training in Morocco because people don't want to pay for their training unless they get a certificate from an international organization. But by offering a subscription service, we're offering people a wide range of different workshops at an affordable price. And it will be affordable, inshallah.
Sure.
Okay. Pisam, question, yes. Or
No, I just clapped.
Oh,
Just
clap,
a
yeah.
clap. Yes.
Yeah, cool. All right, and we have probably the last question for the evening because we planned for a 1 hour webinar. This is from Dr. Mohan. You have a PhD in Translation Studies, and you'd like to do the CELTA with EFA and possibly work for. Do you want to come to Morocco, Geeta?
Yes, Mohammed. Am I audible?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
3:25 a.m. here in India. I'm so sorry about this. But yeah, I would like to move to Morocco at some point because my research area for the PhD was the Maghreb.
No kidding.
So I'm from the UK, from the University of Salford in Manchester. I got my PhD in 2009, and then 2011 I had to move back to India for various reasons. So recently I just thought I'd pick up, my research interests again. So I was looking at the July course, the intensive CELTA, but now after listening to all of you, I think I'm veering more towards the mixed mode because, like Marcel pointed out, it would give a good mix of both online as well as face-to-face teaching training. So I think that would suit me really well. Still, you never know. I might send in my application for the July, Casablanca program. So let's see. I've also kept my schedule quite flexible. So, but yeah, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, Geeta, we'd love to have people come to Morocco from abroad to teach with us here in McNass, because
Right.
believe it or not, it's hard to get Moroccans to move to McNass. It's a nice city. It's a very nice city. I like it here, but it's not the most dynamic city in Morocco.
No, you have to have an open mind.
Yeah, I like that.
And teaching is teaching. As long as you love it, as long as you love your job, I think that shouldn't make a difference at all. I've taught students English literature online. This was during COVID, and that went perfectly fine, though, they weren't used to online teaching at all. But I was fine. So that shouldn't really be a problem. But then CELTA, I know, is much more intensive and pertinent than TEFL. So I definitely want to follow this up. I'm finishing my TEFL next month with business English and young learner specializations.
Excellent. So, Dr. Mohan, all I can say is if you do want to take the mixed mode course in June, you should apply soon because we can only accept 4 people onto that course. Actually, that's the maximum number of people because of the format.
One would be in October, is it?
I'm sorry?
The one after that would be only in October?
That's right. The one after that would be in October. And we have the intensive course in July, but we have another intensive course in August in McNass. So you might consider that an option as well.
Right. Okay. I'll keep both of those in mind.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you so much to you and everyone else, because this has really been an eye-opening, webinar full of information.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to give our alumni a hand. Well done. Thank you very much. You guys are great. You're better than the other people I trained. No, I'm kidding. You're all great. And it's really nice to see you guys again. And hopefully we'll see you for our subscription service once it's launched.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. For those of you who just wanted to attend and who were not the non-alumni, we're going to be posting this on social media, the webinar, the recording, I mean. So if you guys liked what you saw, watch it again, just for the kicks, Okay. I'm not going to take up more of your time with my silly jokes. Wonderful job. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Farouk. Take care.
Thank you, Asma.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Farouk.
Take care. You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Yusuf. I appreciate it. Thank you.